calls and text messages. Drake, what are your 3 hot takes for the day?
Yes, 3 hot takes today coming at you real hot, right off the press. People who drink hot coffee are psychopaths.
Oh, yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever. That is 95% of the population. No. Why are we? I drink hot coffee. It is my lifeblood in the morning. Why?
I understand, but here's what you're doing to yourself every single time you drink hot coffee. You are burning your mouth. And what is the definition of psychopaths? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to be a different outcome. No, you burn your mouth every single time. Yeah, well, that's because you got used to it, which is psychopath behavior, David.
Is the dumbest hot take ever.
No.
Move on to
Moving on to cold coffee, all right? Join the rest of the civilization. Get out of that hot coffee phase,
Gross.
all right?
Sorry, can't do it.
Next hot take. Bonfires in the fall time are the best smell. It has the best smell out of anything all year round. Bonfires burning all those leaves.
Yeah, I love
so
that.
Good.
The smell stays. If you're around it, then you smell like the bonfire for days to come if you don't wash your hair.
That's not a bad. Why is that a bad thing? That's not a bad thing.
You smell like a smoke. You smell like cigarettes almost. I don't want to walk around smelling like a cigarette.
It's one of the joys of going camping. When we were in Boy Scouts, you'd come home, my mom would be like, "You guys smell like smoke. Go wash off. Go take a shower. Change your clothes." It's like, we've been camping, Ma. Mm-hmm. That's part of the joy. Yeah. I don't disagree with you, but I'm going to say in the springtime when there's like freshly mown grass and hay, that's right up there too. That's up there too.
I don't know. I'm just all about that fall leaves, but
okay.
You guys have your opinion.
Better than your coffee one.
Get out of here with that. Last hot take today. Pancakes are better than waffles. I meant to bring this up on our Die on This Hill bit, so I will die on this hill. Pancakes better than waffles. Debate me.
Explain why.
I don't know.
Because pancakes are soft. And you can take a fork, you dig into them a lot easier. You get into a waffle, they start getting hard. You got pieces going all over the place. It's just not as enjoyable as, just you get that butter seeps into the pancake. Ooh, that syrup as well, You know what I'm saying?
Waffles typically get softer as they go as well.
It doesn't seep into it, though. Doesn't seep into it like
they have the little holes that seep in perfectly.
No, it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. The syrup and the butter soaks into the pancakes in a much different way than waffles.
Okay. I think that waffles are maybe a 1 in 5 breakfast experience where pancakes could be more common. But waffles are a nice little treat. I prefer pancakes, but I'm not like, waffles suck.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, waffles are great. But pancakes are a million times better.
Oh, man, I think it depends on my mood. I don't know. I like both probably equally.
Yeah. This has been the weirdest version of hot takes ever.
No, these are great.
Give them to me again real quick.
So first on the hot take list, people who drink hot coffee are psychopaths. Stop burning your mouth every time you drink coffee. Bonfires in fall time has the best smell year round. And pancakes are better than waffles.
Okay, hot takes. Thank you, Drake. Drake's going to get the phones here because people are calling with answers on why it is that the answers of the survey we did a little while ago are much harder on cheating women than cheating men. So we did kind of a social experiment over the last couple of days, and we said, okay, in one story, it was a cheating guy. What do you think of this guy? People are like, I don't like him, dump him. But a lot of people are like, okay, well, you know what? Mistakes are made. Take him back, work it out. Today, we did the same story with a cheating woman, and I would say very noticeably, but not overwhelmingly, people were harder on the cheating woman. Mm-hmm. So why is that?
There's a lot of texts that are saying kind of the same thing. I think we're harder on women because when they cheat, it's more emotional. When men cheat, this must be coming from a man. When men cheat, we're just being men. Maybe I'm just being silly with this text, this person says, but yeah, that's
I think that's true because would you agree that women cheat I've known women who cheated just because they were horny. They didn't want any emotional attention. They were just horny, and maybe their husband was not giving them anything at home, or they met an attractive young guy and they said, let's get it on. But I think you're right. I think women will cheat for emotional reasons, which is a lot harder thing for a guy to get past. Mm-hmm. And a guy will hook up just because he has the opportunity.
Yep.
If you went up to an average guy right now, let's say you were in the Target over in St. Louis Park and you said, I got an RV outside. But excuse me, my name's Jenny. I got an RV outside. You want to, hi, good to meet you. You want to go outside and hook up in the RV? Most guys would be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Most guys would.
I mean, I
That's
can't
what guys
speak
do.
for men, but I mean, if that's what you say, sure. I can acknowledge though as a female that, yeah, it probably is easier for women to find men to cheat with versus men trying to find women to cheat with. Because guys are horny.
Well, that's why God created Adult Friend Finder, Jenny,
Yeah,
so
that
we
is-
can
yeah,
find
that's
that.
good.
I don't even know how that works.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of text messages and some phone calls, 651-989-KDWB. Let's see what we got. Rick over in Big Lake. So we did this experiment last couple of days, and we found out that people are harder on cheating women than cheating men. Rick, why is that? Hello, Rick.
Because women cheat like I just heard was for emotion, and they're looking for their next boyfriend or significant other, and they use it as a power. Guys, they'll take it where they can.
Guys will I don't disagree completely. A good guy who's faithful and loyal does not just go, I've got an opportunity, let's go do this. But
No, it takes a specific guy for that,
But there are going to be guys who will take that opportunity, whereas women are looking for more an emotional connection. What other text we got, Jennifer?
Okay, so I think when women cheat, they cheat not only physically but emotionally for sure. So a lot of that still, and guys mostly cheat for physical. That's like the most reoccurring text that we're getting. Society is harder on women in general. I mean, this is a text I'm reading. Men have historically gotten a pass for being crappy. It's just a cultural dynamic that many are working on to dismantle, which I will say, I think that is true.
I think it's turning the corner, though, because I think that we are calling guys more on their BS, and even guys are calling each other on their own BS. And I'm going to give you an example. Catcalling women. Catcalling women is so 1970s cliche, stupid, insulting, ignorant, and guys don't like to see other guys do that.
Yeah.
So it makes, I don't know. So I think that we are turning the corner on that one.
Yeah.
So
this one says society always punishes men or women over men. Look at celebrities. Look at how Britney was punished by media while male celebrities back then weren't. It's a societal issue.
I don't think you read this one. I think women are 10 times more opinionated in situations as such. So when it's the same gender, they're going to be harder on that person. And I think women voice their opinions louder and stronger than men do in regards to the situation.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that like there's a lot of things that I've become very opinionated about, and my boyfriend Andrew just is kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like he might have an opinion, but he's not going to voice it as much.
So did we learn anything from this one? This text says even these texts and calls are full of systemic misogyny and they don't even realize it. Explain yourself, because you can't just say that. Explain yourself, because I don't know that I agree with that, but I am willing to listen. All right, let's take a break from all that. Let's do Dave's Dirt on KDWB.
The Dave Ryan Show, 101.3 KDWB.
On the Tonight Show, Maren Morris talks about Taylor Swift being a huge influence on her.
I mean, we're the same age, but looking up to her just since I was a teenager and watching her navigate her country music to pop career so gracefully, and just the way she treats her fans is so kind and generous.
She's kind of doing it all
yeah,
right
she's setting a high bar.
Nicki Minaj doesn't want her fans to harass anyone. She said, be sure to never threaten anyone on my behalf, whether in jest or not. I don't and never have condoned that. I guess there was a bit of a story about how her fans were going after people that didn't like Nicki Minaj, and she is not having it. Her fifth album, Pink Friday 2, drops on Friday, December 8th. And I want to take this opportunity to say Christmas Wish drops right now.
Yep.
KDWB's Christmas Wish. We do it every year for the last 31 years. We are going to help out families and individuals in need. Maybe you've heard us do Christmas Wish before. Right now, we are taking donations, much, much, much needed donations and submissions for Christmas Wish. If you know a family in need, there is a form online, kdwb.com, keyword wish, if you want to go check that out and nominate someone. Megan Fox reveals in her new poetry book that she miscarried a child at about 10 weeks. It was very difficult for both her and Machine Gun Kelly and their relationship. Here is Megan Fox.
It was very difficult for both of us, and it sent us on a very wild journey together and separately. And together and apart and together and apart and together and apart, trying to navigate what does this mean and why did this happen?
A friend of Jack Nicholson says Jack doesn't work anymore because Jack Nicholson was like a classic legendary actor all the way from the 50s, maybe through like the 90s. Doesn't work anymore. Well, he's got to be like 85 years old.
Well, he's not that old, is he?
Jack Nicholson, look him up. I would guess he's 85 years old.
Okay, let's see.
Look him up.
Jack Nicholson. Oh, gosh, you're almost spot on. 86.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's why he's not working anymore. So it's kind of a dumb question to ask. His friend says he's doing whatever he really wants to do. He wants to be quiet. He wants to eat what he wants. He wants to live the life that he wants. So, hey, good for him. At 86 years old, go do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sexiest man alive in 2023. Jimmy Kimmel announced it last night and had them on his show.
Please welcome people's sexiest man alive, Mr. Patrick Dempsey. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What took them so long is the only question I have.
Don't know. I'm just happy they made a decision, and it was me this year. I'm very grateful.
Finally made the right decision.
Yes. Never give up on a dream.
How did your family react to the dream?
They laughed quite
They
hard.
did?
Okay, whether you agree or not, that is
I
your
do.
sexiest man. You do agree?
He's become such a silver fox. He's kind of great over the last handful of years, and I think it actually works better for him than when he had darker hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yesterday on the show, we had a really interesting and fun group therapy from a guy named Carl. And maybe you heard it, but if you didn't hear it, I'll fill you in. Carl, short story, he and his wife from Milwaukee, lifelong hardcore Green Bay Packer fans.
Go Pecco.
So is Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
So is Drake.
Mm-hmm.
So they moved to the Twin Cities, and he's got kids that are like 5, 7, and 9 years old. This 9-year-old wants to get a Vikings shirt. And Carl's like, I cannot allow that. I'm not going to buy you one. His wife says, well, fine. You don't have to buy it. I'll buy it for him. And Carl's like, no, this is a real story. This is not made up. Carl's on the phone. We're going to talk to him in a second. And basically people said, let him. It's a game. Have fun. And Carl's like, I don't want that shirt in my house. His wife says, well, you're letting our other kid get a Miami Dolphins shirt. And Carl's response is, well, we're not division lifelong rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
So on the phone, Carl, did you hear this whole discussion? I know we couldn't get you on yesterday, but did you hear the whole discussion on the radio yesterday, Carl?
Good morning. Yes, I did.
You did.
Okay.
What were what was your reaction when you heard people talking about just let your kid get the shirt, go have fun? What do you think?
I had an idea that I was going to be the overwhelming loser. But I really do think that if it was turned around and I was a Vikings fan, I really don't think that everybody would be on my side in allowing a Green Bay shirt in my house. Like
Okay.
Green Bay fans, we're just built different. It's a different level of fandom and loyalty, and that's what I stand with it still.
You know what? I don't disagree with you. Because I get it. Green Bay fans are fans on a whole different level. You got it. There's something to be said for a town of like 15 people. There's only 15 people that live in Green Bay. It is a small town. It is the smallest NFL town in the league by a ton. There's a reason why the Packers have stayed there for like 80 years or whatever it's been. It's because the fans are like no other. Do you think that if the situation had been turned around, that people would be like, no, do not let them buy a Green Bay shirt to bring into my Vikings household?
I do think that there's a lot of Vikings fans that would feel exactly the same as Carl if the roles were reversed. I do feel that way. There's probably more Packer fans, though, that are like Carl than there are Vikings fans.
When I was a kid, growing up in Colorado, we hated the Oakland Raiders. That was the Denver Broncos' longtime hated rivalry in their division. If my friend would have worn an Oakland Raiders shirt or hat to school, he would have been pummeled. It would have not gone over well because I get it. So did your wife hear this too yesterday, Carl?
Yes, she did.
What did she say?
She said we kind of had this set that we were going to kind of use this to gauge which way we were going to go.
Yeah.
So I knew coming into it that I was going to be the overwhelming loser. And so she's now, got it in her head that it's going to happen 100%. And I'm still just not there. I'm still not there yet.
What do you think's going to happen? Do you think, I mean, play this out a couple of days or weeks. Do you think that your kid will eventually get the Viking shirt or no, Carl?
Honestly, I think it probably will happen.
Yeah.
I'd like to compromise somewhere down the middle and maybe say not like a T-shirt, but maybe like wide receiver gloves that have the Vikings logo on it.
Oh, Carl.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm willing to compromise, but a T-shirt I think it might be pushing it too much. I mean, his favorite player is Justin Jefferson. I'm partly okay with it because I understand talent. I understand, that there are position players in the NFL, and I like the fact that he has someone to watch every Sunday, and I put the games on for him and everything. But I'm still just not there on the T-shirt level yet. I think maybe something else. Maybe a Vikings football.
Isn't it great that I hope this is I'm not making fun of you, Carl, but I hope this is the biggest problem you have in your life right now. Because when it boils down to it, this is a fun, kind of a dumb problem to have. You could have a kid that lost his finger in some sort of an accident, or you could have a kid that lost an eye on the 4th of July, but instead you got a kid that wants a Viking shirt. Things could be a lot worse, Carl.
I agree.
All right.
Right now, this is what I'm dealing with, and I appreciate the discussion.
Carl, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for being on the show. We appreciate it. Have a great day, okay?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. What do you think? Is Carl crazy?
I don't think he's crazy because I think that there are so many people who are super fans of whatever sports team that they love. And I think that this is it for him.
Mary's on the phone. Mary, you heard the whole thing. What do you think of Carl? And he won't get his kid. But Carl is a hardcore Packer fan, will not get his 9-year-old a Vikings jersey. Just will not have it. What do you think, Mary?
So I think Carl's not crazy. I'm a huge Vikings fan, and my dad, my family would not have let that pass by wearing a Packers jersey at all, anywhere near the house. I dated a Packer fan. That did not go over well. My sister is currently dating a Packer fan. We have issues. We cannot watch games together. So I don't think he's crazy.
So Dad would have never bought you a Packers jersey back in the day?
Nope. No.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think he's crazy. I just think it would just be weird to look across the living room on game day and seeing your kid wearing their rival's shirt. I get
agree.
it. Skyless. Good morning, Skyless.
Hi.
What's your take on the whole thing?
Okay, so first off, I'm driving, so sorry if it gets a little spotty.
It's okay.
And I'm on speaker, so don't worry. But so as I was saying, I'm from Wisconsin. My entire family still lives in Wisconsin. I live in the Twin Cities. My uncle is a huge, huge Vikings fan. Has been my entire life. My family still gets him Vikings things. We find it as a hilarious thing. It's a funny running gag in our family that Uncle Perry is a Vikings fan, and we make jokes about it. There's no fighting. There's no division. The whole thing that Carl said about Packers fans are different than Vikings fans and wouldn't allow a Vikings jersey or Vikings stuff in the Packer family is complete BS.
Complete. See, but I think that's where you're kind of more the norm. I think that people it's a fun rivalry.
Yeah.
It's like if you have somebody that for example, Susan loves Ohio State. She's a Buckeye. If I had gone to Michigan and I was wore my Michigan gold and blue on game day and she wore her scarlet and gray, we'd have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't hate each other for it. So
sure. I totally get it. I mean, and don't get me wrong. My family is hardcore Packer fans. For me, I don't care about sports one way or another. But it just is I just feel like some people just take sports things way too seriously and just try to make the rivalry way more intense than I feel like it really.
Well, what's funny is the phones are loaded with people who want to weigh in on this, Skyless, because so many people are passionate about this. We'll do one more, and then we got to kind of move on a little bit. Amber, tell me your story about basically a guy called in. He said his kid wants a Vikings jersey, and he's like, no, we're Packers family. Not going to happen. Should he get him one? So we were debating that with Carl a minute ago. What did you want to add to all this?
Yeah, so about 20 years ago when I was doing daycare with my mom in her home, the very first day one of the kids showed up in a Packers sweatsuit. And my mom literally made the mom take him home and changes clothes. She said, I cannot look at that Packers outfit all day long because I am the biggest hardcore Vikings fan.
Oh.
But with that theory, you can't even be friends with a Packers fan. I mean, if you're going to take it that seriously, you couldn't even be friends with a Packers fan. That's taking a little bit too soon.
But
Yeah.
it happened.
No.
She took him home. She changed the clothes, brought him back, and she ended up keeping him at her daycare for about 10 years, and they ended up being friends. So
that's good. That's good.
It was pretty funny. I thought she was going to scare him away. They were probably going to be like, oh my gosh, this daycare mom is crazy. I'm not leaving my kid here.
Oh my God, I love it. There were so many people who texted and called about this when I wish we get to all of these, but people are passionate about this. We're going to do something completely different that we've never done before. Jenny's, what are you calling this, Jenny?
The Emo Threemo.
Emo Threemo.
And it's the first time we're ever doing this. It's not going to happen super often, or else Rich is going to fire me because we're not going to be allowed to play most of these songs at the time. But basically, it came up last week on Winning Song Wednesday. I had chosen a My Chemical Romance song, and it had won. And so I was like, let's get a little emo music onto KDWB. So we're going to start off with a very classic band, classic song, a little All-American Rejects, Dirty Little Secret.
And this is just the first of three?
Just the first of
on
three.
the
I got
Threemo?
two more.
Is it
coming
Emo
up.